Hey everyone, welcome back to Bourbon Bums, presented by Greene Valley Wine Spirits, 344 Commons Drive in Bolingbrook, Illinois. HBIC, Hip Hop in Charge, Master Taster Bologna, and we did a recent whiskey rewind. And I feel like it's new, but it's still a rewind.
New but old, somewhere in between. High West Bourye.
Bourye?
Bourye.
It's a classic Mr. Burns. I was saying Bourye. Happy to have this back. This has been the first time in, 3 years-ish?
3-ish years, I
3,
know.
4 years. It's been a while, but Bourye from High West is back nationwide. And we are happy because this is one of the main, I would say bourbons, because it's not a bourbon.
Whiskeys
that got you into the game.
100%. If you guys have followed our channel for a while, I've talked ad nauseum how much I like blending bourbon and rye together.
Yep.
It started with the old man or poor man's pappy. I've done wild turkey, rare breed, both rye and bourbon together. Yep. I try to do it with a bunch of different things. I'm a big fan of that. And yeah, the original Bourye was one of the reasons I got into whiskey. So I'm happy to have it back. Distillery only, no more, at least for this year.
Yeah. And I have to be honest, I love High West and I love the Bourye, I love the Campfire. I have a feeling they re-released this mostly because the past couple of years, the Midwinter's Night Dram wasn't selling as much.
That's a great point. So yeah, not to talk or disparage another whiskey we're not reviewing, but I think if you are in the whiskey community, I think it's fairly consensus that the Midwinter's Night Dram have slowly been going on the downtick.
Right. So I think when they originally pulled this back to Utah distillery only, it's okay, we're going to make this exclusive. And then maybe, this is me putting on tinfoil hat conspiracy theory.
I like it.
I'm the last few years, the Midwinter's Night Dram hasn't been that successful. There's a lot of products still sitting on the shelf with them. They haven't sold out as quickly as they wanted. And now I'm thinking maybe they re-released this nationwide because they needed to make some money and make up some sales for the slow sales for Midwinter's Night Dram.
All right, so you would think so, right? That makes sense. I like the tinfoil hat of it all. But I just don't know if Bourye has the hype of Midwinter's Night. People in the know.
Yes.
It's a shout out 630
Whiskey. If you know, you know.
Yeah, shout out 630 Whiskey. She know. Like Dram Daddy, they know. But a general casual person might not know that this was limited or once was and now is.
Yeah. So it's back nationwide, at least for now. We'll see. Hopefully it continues and it's an everyday shelfer with the High West. Because we love this one.
Even if it's not an everyday shelfer.
Or a once a year release.
Nationwide
release. I feel like them taking one of their most popular offerings and making it Utah distillery only. That was a big miss on their part. It would be like Buffalo Trace being oh, we're going to have Eagle Rare, E.H. Taylor, distillery only. And granted, those are still hard to find for some people, but I feel like that's kind of where they were going with this because it's still one of their main core bourbons, or whiskeys.
And selfishly, we're the Bourbon Bums, but we're also the Chicago Sports Bums. We're in Illinois. We can get to Kentucky fairly easy. We ain't going out to Utah. No. Who's going out to Utah?
Maybe if you're a skier or snowboarder, you're going out there in the winter, but who's going to Utah in July?
Boo John Stockton.
Yeah. All right. So, re-release. This is coming in at 46%. So that translates to, I'm going to do the math.
92?
92. Yes. Thank you. So still relatively young, or low. Speaking of age statements, so there's rumors that this is potentially 10 years.
No. I on their website for sure aged about all the blends, the components of this is 10 years and up. There was rumor on Reddit, which, Reddit is neither here nor there, but sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Someone on Reddit said that there is something in this blend that was 19 plus years. I don't believe it, but I read it, so I thought I would tell it to you guys.
Okay.
I feel like that would be super hype.
Okay, so that's what I got mistaken. So yes, 10 years. rumored 19.
Yeah.
So all right. So let's again. If you have to say Burr Rye, it's a bourbon rye blend, which we love.
Yes, and I mean, just off the
And
rip,
the nose.
it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
I think there is a lot of like honey and caramel that you could get both from bourbon and rye, and then there's like a little bit of orange peel, orange zest that I get from rye.
Yeah, I definitely get
I got a little
get some
vanilla.
spice on there. I definitely get some sweet notes. Maybe some chocolate and marshmallow. Like
I don't get a lot of oak, but I do get enough oak to make me believe then, yeah, that this is a double-digit whiskey.
yeah. All right, this is man. So
This
I'm
smells
not
great.
gonna lie. This is my first time having Burr Rye in, I would say, 2 years.
The High West Bourye?
Yeah, the High West Burr
'Cause
Rye.
we should mention, there's other companies doing other Bourye.
Correct.
Knob Creek.
Knob
released
Creek,
one.
yeah, Knob Creek. But that one. They just took their big batch 6-year rye, and then they just like, let's put it together. And like, I can
Frankenstein
fucking do that myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't need a special blend for this. But this is one of those special ones. All right, before we get to our tasting notes, quick ad from our sponsor. Greene Valley Wine Spirits in Bolingbrook is the best liquor store in the southwest suburbs. Come see their newly expanded and remodeled location for all your liquor needs. They have a great craft beer selection, an ever-expanding portfolio of tequilas and bourbon, and a new wine rack showcasing the best wines around. And while you're there, stop by their newly added tasting bar to try all the Bourbon Bums store picks before you buy. That's Greene Valley Wine and Spirits, 344 Commons Drive at the corner of Route 53 and I-55 in Bolingbrook. And tell them the bump sent you. Thank you, Greene Valley. All right, let's go.
Salute.
Man, that's everything I remember.
That's good, man.
That's good.
That's good. All right.
So, hold on, real quick. Would you say that High West Bourye is the standard bearer for Burr Rye blends?
Regular or at least findable releases, yes. Wild Turkey did a Bourye that you have back there, or I thought you might have had back there. Yeah, right. Triumph. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
they'll try with the rye, the 10-year rye.
There's a Master's Keep.
There's
that
a
was
Master's
Bourye.
Keeper.
That thing
I don't
was
think
lights
I don't
out.
think I have that one.
I've had that. You can't compare the two. But of the people blending bourbon and rye
No,
together,
wait, now I want to check real quick here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Unforgotten is bourbon. Unforgotten. Yes,
Yeah.
I do have it.
but that's tough to compare, right?
I don't even know what I have sometimes.
That's a nice luxury to have. Of the people releasing this regularly, yes, I think them, and I'm a big fan of Redwood Empire. Lost Monarch is another Bourye. I say Lost Monarch is a summer whiskey. I crush that in the summertime. Even at their cast strength offerings, that's really good. But I would still, if you're asking me to pick and choose, this is my favorite Bourye of the bunch.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I didn't even remember that Unforgotten was a Bourye. So, I agree with you. Like for an everyday shelfer, maybe it's just everyday
Hopefully,
release.
cross your fingers.
Yeah.
But even if it's like a limited series, but you're able to get it every year now.
Yeah,
going
I would
back
say like if they release this once a year,
twice a year.
twice
High
a year.
West, just
Come on, yeah,
put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there. The one thing I will say that I didn't like was they re-released this and the MSRP is $125 now, which is
That's
highly up from when they had it originally, which was around that $80-$90.
Yeah, I think I remember. I mean, shout out to my local bodega, which we've talked about. I'm not gonna tell you where that is.
Keep it secret.
We were able to get the High West Bourye on the regular, even when it started getting less or more and more scarce. Until hand up, we messed up. There was a couple bottles left, and we're like, should we get them? And like, no, let's get other things. And then they were gone, and now we could never find them
That's
for
true.
3 years.
Yeah. So I don't like that they came back with a vengeance on the price point, because if you follow High West, you know what Midwinter's Night Dram did. They were originally like the $80-$90, and then they jacked it up to $180, $200 in some
Yeah, it's crazy.
places. And a lot of people were pissed off about that. So I don't I don't fault them for raising the price, but it's kind of like, yeah, maybe keep it at the $100 mark. You went up to 125. Okay, I get it, but like
it's a tough ask. It's a tough ask
for
to keep buying $125 bottles of whiskey.
Especially for people who like wanted this and they haven't seen it in 3-4 years and are like, okay, it's back, but now you have to pay more money for it. Like, so
but the bump up in age does help. It is noticeable. At least.
Is.
You know what? We're gonna get to.
Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so this is a little peek behind the curtain. This is the original Bourye rye that
I had gotten. So this is from 2018. This is 18. This is the last of my old school Bourye rye that we were able to get bottles of, but now can't. Let's see if we can tell a difference, because I love that bottle and I've been nursing it. And I'm like, as soon as this happened, I'm like, all right, let's do the side by side.
All right, yeah, we got to do a side by side because we're all about educating and everything. So, all right, so we got 2025, 2018. So we got a 7-year age gap between these. But do you know what the original age statement on the?
I do not, but I do remember the blends. You can fact check me if you want. I believe it was closer to like the 8-year range.
Okay, I do remember some of these Bourye ryes being younger. So like when you told me that this new release was 10 years, I was like, oh, that's awesome, because I do not remember it being originally 10 years. So this kind of checks out. So all right,
so one thing I should mention, and we didn't mention it when we started. So this is a lot of High West's own distillate, but it still has some MGP 95.5 rye.
Yes.
And rumored a little bit of Barton. And maybe that's the extra age, but that's, again, rumor. We couldn't find anything definitive on it.
Yeah. All right. So I got the new and I got the olds. All right. So let's go with old first.
Yeah. I think it's really different. I think it's way different.
It's good, but it is.
So for some reason, the old school High West MGPs,
they're vastly different.
This is like it's super fruity. Where this, even though you would think it's, a blend of bourbon and rye, this is like more, I don't want to say dark, but it's more like just the standard bourbon and vanilla note or rye notes.
So we have
caramel, vanilla, a little bit of orange zest. Where this is like, for some reason, I get like fruit salad off of this.
So now we have to think is like, how much influence did MGP have with the new release because we were told that like,
how much does the new High West distillate now that it's aging?
Oh yes. Because we already talked about how like they ran out of the good juice,
or they stopped giving it to High West.
Yeah, that too. So,
tinfoil. You got your tinfoil hat on.
I got my tinfoil hat on today. Yeah,
I don't know. It's tough to compare the two. They're both very good. I think the new release is something I'm happy we got. I'm gonna be happy to drink it all summer long. I don't think it's comparable to the 18.
Yeah,
I think the 18 is on another level.
I think side by side, I think the 18 still hits, even if it's younger in age compared to the newer. It's just something more flavorful on the younger that I like.
If we were to do if we did reviews back then, this would be probably in contention for Whiskey of the Year. It probably wouldn't win, but it would be in our top 6-ish.
Yeah,
I think so. Maybe top 5.
I'm gonna do one more. So I got the old. Okay, and yeah, old is old. Right. The 2018 is hitting way harder for me. It's thicker. It's more flavorful, and
it's also way more balanced.
Yeah,
I think they're like the old school. We've had a bunch of these bottles, and now this is the last of it. But like, there's something really well balanced about like a lot of the bourbon notes, a lot of the rye notes, but they married really well together.
They do.
Where this still really good. After I did the side by side, it's noticeable that like maybe they're just not as compatible.
Maybe maybe I would say, we talked about this before. Would you agree or disagree that this is more of a bourbon drinker's rye than a rye drinker's rye?
Interesting question. I get more rye notes off of this. I get more bourbon notes off of this.
So you think it's just flip-flop?
I think I like, even when I do drink ryes, I like the bourbon drinker's rye.
Yeah.
As opposed to the 95.5 spicy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they both have 95.5 MGP. I'm almost positive of that. There's just something well balanced about that.
Yeah. All right. For the 2025, let's give a grade on this, because I'll start it off. I think I'm going, with this release, I'm going 8.3.
I was going to say 8.2. I think it's tough when there's a bottle that's $125. Realistically, if that bottle was $79.99, I think it would sit with me a lot better.
The same price point as Campfire?
Yeah. For $125, it's a tough ask. Especially when you have this where it's like, oh man.
Yeah, the OGs.
Yeah.
Some people probably still have, like, shout out, we said 630 Whiskey. We had a tailgate last season for the Sox, and she brought a High West. I think that was like she brought like a 20, like an older one too.
I think it's 2017.
Yeah.
2018. Well, yeah.
But she brought an older one too, and that was like, oh man, like we were just like, can't believe we're doing this one again. So
maybe we're just ageist.
We are, potentially.
Noted ageist. Chicago Sports
But
Bums.
it's 8.2, 8.3. It's not bad. If you see it, I say
I'm happy we got it.
Yeah, we're not disappointed. It's when you do it side by side compared to the OG, it's vastly different. But holding up on its own in 2025, it's very, very good still. Like I'm not hating on it on a standalone self. So 8.3 is still very good a review for us. So
I think, like, was it unfair? Like, I think we knew we were going to do the side by side before I even came over.
Yeah.
But if we just did the review on its own, maybe the side by side maybe skewed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going 8.4, 8.5 if we didn't do the side by side. But I mean, shout out to old school High West stuff. It was just better.
Yeah.
I mean, and that goes. We talked about Midwinter's Night Dram. Old school Midwinter's Night Dram just hit different.
Those first like 6, 7X like just hit vastly different than the last 3-4 years. And again, tinfoil hat, I feel like that's why Bourye got released nationwide again.
I like that. If you're in the comments, let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe you got the same tinfoil hat on.
Is the non-sales of Midwinter's Night Dram the reason why Bourye came back in the market? Maybe, maybe not. But either way, we're happy this is back in the Chicagoland area. So that is our review on the 2025 release of Bourye from High West Distillery, presented by Greene Valley Wine Spirits, 344 Commons Drive in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Stop in, tell them the bum sent you. We got some great store picks, and we'll be back very soon for another Bourbon Bums review. Until then, cheers.
Salute.